Will this sorceress be able to reincarnate some old cards into a new archetype, or is that simply just a matter of smoke and mirrors? Find out what's going on as I hereby invite everyone to join me on my adventures through Marvel Snap. Hey everybody, it's Annabelle. So we got a brand new season, and this time around we are going with the Masters of the Arcane. And the first card we have for this season is going to be Morgan Le Fay. Morgan Le Fay was born in 6th century England. Even as a child, she had a magical essence about her. She grew up with her half-brother who would become King Arthur, and grew jealous of him as he was clearly favored by everybody. She was often neglected by her mother, and eventually discarded her and forgot her very existence. She then left for the Isle of Avalon to learn magic. She had an agile mind and studied diligently, quickly outstripping friends and rivals alike. She was trained by the most skilled of priestesses, and then by Merlin himself. Morgan Le Fay was picked by the Lady of the Lake as her chosen ruler for the kingdom. However, Merlin arranged for Arthur to be king instead. She became furious and enraged, but elected to keep Arthur close and wield her power from behind the throne. In order to gain his trust, she fought beside him, and together they defeated numerous enemies. But as time dragged on, Arthur did not grant her a kingdom or any of the rewards that should have been gifted to her. Further, her hold on him started to wane as he found his new queen, Lady Guinevere, and thus she had to turn to the dark side. Morgan Le Fay has the main skill in the art of necromancy, and as a result of learning this magic, she now is capable of surviving the death of her physical body. She can reincarnate as long as her spirit survives, and her spirit can exist independently of any host for centuries with no loss in power. She can also use this power to create an army of monsters, and after she reincarnated every person killed by the sword Excalibur, her powers have only grown. And now she uses her necromancy to unleash global-sized armies of the undead quite frequently. Morgan Le Fay is cruel and selfish, a woman who has never been able to find a place she belonged to, and has had a hard time not cursing others who have wronged her. She changed greatly throughout her life, from a fine young lady to a frighteningly powerful magic user. She sees herself as being better than simple mere mortals and their laws, and regards herself as the rightful queen of this realm. She only chooses not to exercise her right because of her continuing the study of magic that occupies her time so much that she feels disinclined to take on any other harsh tasks. Morgan Le Fay is one of the most powerful sorcerers in history. She possesses a gifted intellect and knows a great deal of magical lore, and has the ability to grant powers to others. Born as a half-fae, she possesses innate personal powers like mind control and astral projection. She can magically manipulate both the natural environment and the astral plane. She can cast illusions, project magical beings, take flight, shapeshift, create force fields, control her enemies, and remove spirits from anyone and then place them under her control. Morgan Le Fay is a sorcerer that has the ability to grant powers to others who got discarded and then learn the art of necromancy, and now unleashes armies of the undead quite frequently. This is represented in Marvel Snap, as she will use her necromancy to bring back all those who have been discarded and have died, and then grant them power. So Marvel Snap, what this card is, it is a 4-cost, 7 power with the description of, on reveal, she will return all of your discarded or destroyed cards throughout the game to your hand and give them all +3 power. In my opinion, I feel that this is about a 3-star card because I see at least one place where she can have some use behind her. So let's talk about the big elephant in the room. If you're using cards like Deadpool, if you're using cards like Wolverine, if you're using cards like Apocalypse, then her power will not work. Also, you have to be aware of how she works. She kind of works like Toxin, as because she puts the cards back in your hand, you need at least a turn to cast all those cards. So this does not have a use on turn 6. However, I do see some uses behind it, where you could use stuff like getting the Dakin and using the Bullseye to either bring back the Dakin and gain more power to it, or then use the Bullseye early game, get rid of the sword, bring it back, and destroy it again. The main problem with her is the fact that she's a 4/7, so if you can't bring back stuff, then she's simply just a Segron. There is a way that I can see her seeing some sort of use with cards like the Hood. You destroy the Hood, you bring back the Hood, plus 3 power. The Hood's a 1/0 at that point. I can also be seen used with stuff like Hydra Bob, which when you come back with the 3 power is a 1/7, and Marta, which is a 1/8. To use this, you kind of do need Black Swan, which is kind of one of the problems with her. Is she, from what I can see, she works best with 1-drops and low drops. Also, I can see her being used quite well with a Shauna build, where you go Shauna, and then after Shauna you use the Killmonger to get rid of the 1-drops, and then just bring back what you feel like, and use what you feel like. One of the problems is she would be a good counter for Shang-Chi, except for the fact that Shang-Chi usually happens on turn 6, and you can't use her on turn 6. But if for some reason you get a destroy effect early on in the game, or something big gets destroyed early on in the game, you can bring it back. Also, I do see some sort of deck where she might exist, where you kind of use the Misery combo, where you destroy Misery, or you find a way to destroy everything from Misery, and then you bring it back with her right on 5. And then you play the stuff back down on 6. This still might require the Black Swan, however. So, I see her being useful and making this kind of weird little 1-drop build, but you can't go heavy with it. And I think if you go low and slow, she might be a useful card. Anyways, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, remember, play for fun.